Hey, everybody. That get you?
That got me.
Welcome to Muni Misfits. This is the off-season edition. We are at the Prairiewood Learning Center. What do you guys think? This is nice digs.
I thought this was the academy.
Sorry.
At
What's
Prairiewood
the name?
National. The academy at Prairiewood National.
Could be our intro.
What's that?
Well, like they do Monday Night Football. They have the faces of the guys going, the Prairiewood National.
Right, exactly. So we're sitting in the Prairiewood Golf Shop right now, and it's the Prairiewood National Learning Center, however you want
I
to
can't
coin
even
it.
see who I'm talking to.
I know. I'm going to get a sunburn.
You're just a shadow of yourself.
Blinded by the lights.
How does the video look on here? Subpar. Subpar. But hey, we're at Prairiewood, and what did we do here? What's going on, Matt? This is your stuff.
We kind of built this on out as the Prairiewood Learning Center. We were able to obtain a grant this spring to help us purchase some equipment. That helps a lot. I just got like a big old shadow on my face. And so we were able to build out a couple of cages in here. We've invested in some technology, and we hope to do some programming in the near future, along with doing some lessons. So yeah, pretty excited about it.
So what kind of tech do we have? We were kind of goofing around in here because right now people are asking about getting fit, getting their numbers. There's a lot of stuff. We're not actually hitting off of grass. So what can people expect to learn when they're here taking a lesson or practicing?
Well, I think, as far as some of our programming, I think each of us have our own launch monitors, so we can measure a lot of stuff. We did end up purchasing both an iPad and TV, so we can also do some filming and videoing, help people learn as far as in that way too. We do have some putt view putting mats as well, so we'll be able to do some short game stuff as well as some full swing. So yeah, pretty excited.
And I think that the big part here is that this is only the beginning. We're looking at doing more stuff like this, and this is kind of our entry into the off-season programming, and having year-round assistant golf professionals at the Fargo Parks and being able to really hone in on a lot of teaching and programming in the off-season is going to be key. And so I hope that we see a lot more of this type stuff. So, and it's really neat to be able to use utilizing flexible space. So when I was hitting golf balls just early, I was talking to you, Greg. I'm like, this is really nice. Like, it's quiet, and if you can take a lesson here, it's really it's a nice asset for the Fargo Parks to have, but also from the teaching perspective, you can really have a nice experience, I guess. So I'm really excited to be able to use this too.
Got a nice little view of the Prairiewood Golf Course with all the windows we have surrounding the place.
Matt, can you lift that mic up closer to your mouth?
Did we catch any of Matt's deal? Nothing.
We just start over.
Can I get them all again?
Want to put a sheet up so we can?
Holy cow! It is warm. Sun is hot. So, anyways, yeah, this is going to be fun. I'm excited to see, and maybe in another pod we can come back here and maybe even take a golf lesson here. So
I think we should.
Yeah.
Especially
Greg loves the online lesson stuff.
I do actually. I follow other people that do it very well. We can, the technology part of it is sometimes consuming.
100%.
So we'll have to do what do the numbers mean? I mean, there's a lot of people that use simulators right now, and all the simulators have been very good at giving you numbers.
Yeah.
But what do the numbers mean?
I love this question. Matt, how many launch monitors do you have? How many?
I have a few.
You have a few?
I have a few.
He has so many monitors. You've got a Mevo Plus, a Flight Scope, and now you just added a quad, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's that's insanity.
Is that too many?
That's a lot. And then this is the follow-up question. Matt, do you know how far you hit it? Do you know your numbers?
I have been actually hitting some balls.
Okay, good.
Trying to experiment with this. So yeah, I've got a better idea. I mean, it makes me sad. But
the thing is, other people's numbers very well. It's just you do not know your own.
I know Sophie's very well.
Yeah, I bet. So,
do you have the gang sign down?
What's that about?
Spin loft, baby.
Oh.
And your new monitor does
Victor.
all sorts of stuff. So
Mhm.
yeah. Okay. Anything else on P-Wood, guys? Anything you want to add?
No.
Tori loves this space though, right? It's cool. It's a cool little, I love the retro feel of this clubhouse. I think it's the fact that we get to do this and it's underutilized, but they do use it. Do they use it for cross country at all in the winter? Do they do anything there?
We do groom trails out here.
Okay.
We do not utilize the building at
Okay.
all, but they do groom trails. Eric Hansen, our superintendent, does a nice job out here, and they've got a nice little trail or track or whatever you want to call it as far as cross country skiing.
So imagine that super cool vibe, right? Come out, get your cross country ski, like warm up, and then come in here and then take a golf lesson.
There you go.
But we don't do rentals here.
Okay, we don't do
Okay,
rentals.
we have to preface
But
that.
that would be sweet. That's cool.
Yeah.
Sounds like a podcast, something we should maybe do.
Cross country ski and then
Yeah.
come in here and hit golf balls and
Yeah.
have like a competition.
It's like a relay race.
It's a relay
Oh,
race.
the biathlon. What is that? We have to incorporate some shooting of some kind. We can bring some Nerf guns or something in here.
Rather than shooting bullets, we're shooting Titleist.
We're either onto something or we're on something.
I think it's the latter.
All right, that's cool. All right, now I got to switch gears here. Not too far off though. How do you guys feel about Osgood reigning #1 supreme golf course in all the land right now? Named #1 golf course in the Red River Valley. How do you guys feel about that?
Congratulations to the Osgood team.
Appreciate that.
Way to go.
It took a lot of effort to beat out the Deuce. Who came in second?
Who cares?
No, but seriously, it was pretty cool to be recognized, and I think you guys can probably speak to this. From what I understand, I think that was the first time that Osgood was recognized, and potentially the first time a less than 18-hole golf course was recognized as best of the Red River Valley.
I thought the former golf freshman was on a roll of like 5 straight, wasn't he, Greg?
Easy. So, but as far as marketing is concerned, do you guys have any idea of when the last time that Osgood won it? Did they win it?
I don't think they've ever.
I think
Okay.
this is the first.
Yeah.
Did you get your plaque yet?
No, I haven't.
It's
Do I
not
need to
really
get a plaque?
It's like a little.
Do I have to get that
They
plaque?
send you like a championship trophy.
I know, but you have to pay for it. It's like you win the event, but then you still have
No,
to
I
pay
don't
for the
think so.
plaque.
No.
You just get that thing?
Yeah, you should have it.
Okay. I got to call that in. I don't know if I have a
It's in the-
budget for that.
It should be in your mailbox, actually.
Oh, like a paper one?
No. Not a
I want
paper.
like a legit thing.
It's
Like
a
as
legit.
big as that TV I wanted.
It'll be just a little smaller than that.
Honestly, I think when we posed that question, they sent a PDF over with a printer on it.
How hot is your face right now, Matt?
You have a special glow going
All
on.
I-
What's going on?
Seriously.
Is there something we should know?
You're
Oh, I
actually-
know.
This podcast brought to
This
you by
doesn't-
Copper Tone.
If this doesn't hurry up, I'm going over to find some skin cream.
You're actually just a white blob. No features.
So things basically look the same. Great.
So anyways, thanks for everyone that voted, by the way. Appreciate that. That's really cool to be recognized in that way. So, and then let's talk about some like, look at you guys.
Hi, Greg. Share mics.
You guys are like REO Speedwagon over there sharing mics. All right, golf ball rollback. You guys aware of what's going on right now and anything outside of Prairiewood? The golf ball rollback's hot right now.
What are you talking about?
Do you want to know?
Is that why they rolled it back?
They rolled it back. It was too hot. Do you know anything about the rollback, Tori? Have you heard anything about the rollback?
You haven't been losing sleep over it?
Well, honestly, that probably cut into the chase, but I do think that we are probably losing a little bit of sleep over nothing. You obviously are not losing any sleep. For those of you that don't quite understand what the rollback is, the USGA did come out with some ruling that in fact the golf ball is a little too hot and they're going to be changing the way they test. Therefore, about only a third of the golf balls currently are legal.
Do you have a list of golf balls that are currently legal?
I don't.
I don't either. I tried to find it one day. I couldn't
They
find
keep
it.
saying a third though.
Yeah.
So I'm without being like really dry. I got a quick ruling here. So the rule under the new proposals, golf balls struck at a robot controlled swing speed of 125 miles an hour, up from 120 miles an hour, must not exceed 317 yards to conform. The revision effectively keeps the overall distance standard consistent despite increasing swing speed by 5 miles an hour. Okay, so the golf ball just can't go further than 317 when swung at 125 miles. The ball speed, excuse me, the club head speed is 125 miles an hour. So, how do you guys think this is going to affect the average golfer? And by average, I mean the weekend warrior, the guy that's playing one time a week, one time every 2 weeks, maybe a season ticket holder here in the Fargo Parks. How do you think that's going to affect them? And this, to be clear, this doesn't actually come into play until 2028 for those people.
Well, I mean, that's a huge segment. That's going to affect different people in different ways.
Yep.
I mean, you've got guys that are higher handicaps that might hit a ball a long ways. You've got very good, our low handicap players probably hit a long ways. It's obviously going to probably affect them a little bit more than the person with slower club head speed. But I don't know. The biggest question is, what was broke?
So what
is their reasoning for it?
I think, and it's obviously more of an elite player issue. It's there to maintain the consistency in the elite amateur ranks and obviously the professional tours. But then they want to make sure that it's not just a distance game, and it's not just I'm bombing driver and hitting wedge. I think they want to test the golfers in a way that's more consistent with how it was previously tested 20 to 30 years ago, I think is the argument. But I would agree with you in the fact that from the average golfer perspective, there's absolutely nothing broken. Actually, it's quite the opposite, right? It's actually thriving. It's doing exactly what it's supposed to be doing. So the argument there is going to be, what is 3 yards? What is 5 yards? So in their defense, in the USGA's defense, is that, I mean, it's not really breaking anything either for the average golfer. What would be the difference for you, 3 yards to 5 yards off of the tee? And now saying that that's probably not going to affect your 3-wood. It's probably not going to affect your 5-iron. And certainly by the time you get to a 7-iron, it's not going to be affected at all, right? It's virtually keeping the standard. It is rolling it back a little bit, but it is virtually keeping everyone at the average player level pretty much the same. I would reckon that nobody knows how far they hit it down to 5 yards off of the tee without the aid of a launch monitor. They hit a great shot off the tee. A great shot's still going to be a great shot. But I think that, if you bomb it 300 yards, your bomb now is going to be 295 yards, from an elite level,
Well, typically, I think that when you're talking elite level, so you're talking extremely, extremely small, minute percentage of all the individuals that play golf worldwide. And for those individuals, they're going to find a way to swing faster. So it's not going to be any change, I don't think, as far as for those that truly want to make a difference.
No, I think I think you're onto something too. I think it's actually going to create, it's going to create a wider gap even, because I think those elite players are just going to be that more motivated to hit it harder and faster.
And, and the guys that have that capability and blessed with that talent, and I would think it's only going to continue to be in their favor. So it's still going to be a distance deal. I mean, it's always been to a certain degree, a distance deal. I mean, look at some of the great players we've had recently. I mean, from Greg Norman, Tiger Woods, Jack Nicklaus, even in his day, all those guys were huge bombers. They all had an advantage there. I don't know. It just seems like they're going to try to. What I wonder about the USGA is, have we seen a lot of really proven numbers, any type of real research, anything of proven substantial evidence that this is going to make one difference? And I still don't understand, what is their motivation once again?
Yeah, it's the motivation is certainly getting golfers to hit essentially more clubs in the bag, having to hit a variety of shots rather than rewarding distance. That's the goal anyway, whether or not it's going to happen or not. But I think just the pure reward of distance and how that's weighted everything. When you look at the top players on tour, they generally align with guys that have generally, I'm going to say, but they generally align with the guys that swing the club the fastest or have the highest ball speeds.
Is this a new way of trying to, I mean, what's the way they've judged golf balls in the past? Is this a different?
Well, I have that.
Is this a different?
I have that for you.
I knew you would. You're number one, remember?
So there's a whole lot that goes into the ball testing because it's not just club head speed and it's not just ball speed.
But now it is.
So the parameters that they also have what they consider optimal launch. So for spin rate and launch angle will be revised to 2200 RPMs and 11 degrees from 2520 RPMs and 10 degrees respectively. So the ball speed is going up. Excuse me. The club head speed is going up 125 from 120, and it's the same distance that it was previously at. It's just they're increasing what the ball speed is, and then what they're considering the optimal launch and spin is how they're testing it. So criteria-based extensive analysis from worldwide tours and several years, and are intended to ensure that the ODS, which is the overall distance standard, remaining unchanged at 317 with a 3-yard tolerance, continues to represent the ability of the game's longest hitters.
So there has to be a line in the sand, correct?
Absolutely, there does.
I agree with that too.
I think this is, you said it when we were in a meeting too, this is going to be the wedges all over again.
5 years is a long time. I think the ball companies are pretty good at moving around. We'll see. I mean, it could have a big impact. My question is going to be, is this enough? Right? I mean, are we going to get 5 years, 10 years down the road and they're going to have to do it again? Probably, because the way the manufacturers make golf balls and technology changes. I believe there needs to be a line in the sand. Golf ball, you can buy golf balls that go twice as far as the ones you hit. We just don't do it. So we'll see what happens. I think it's going to be much ado about nothing, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, and you're also seeing in the USGA, they're saying this is kind of the tip of the iceberg and what they're monitoring. Yes. And for them, it's kind of the easiest, for them anyway, it's the easiest way to go about things and just create a new standard. Because if you saw that the USGA announcement, there is driver hotness that's also up for debate as well, which, my opinion is that the drivers are an easy pathway, but then also it gets a little messy though too with the drivers and how they're testing those. So, but I've always said that the fact that somebody has very little there's very little circumstances for somebody to go out and try and smash the ball as hard as they can because of how forgiving these drivers are. They're not, there's no consequence there is the word I was trying to find. There's no consequence for going out there and hitting that 130-yard swing speed, 180, 90 mile an hour ball speed, when an inch off of the sweet spot, you're still going to be, relatively safe.
So should the testing standard raise the spin rate and not let them be under 2,500? Golf ball has to spin at least 3,000 RPMs. Does that make it go shorter? For sure.
For sure.
Is that the next? I mean, again, I believe that there needs to be a line in the sand. They haven't done anything for a long time, which maybe dropped the ball a little bit.
Right.
But as they keep lowering the spin, the ball keeps going farther. Mm-hmm. So do we need balls that spin more? Because just like you said, balls that spin more go offline more. And, we're going to see technology in drivers, and I think a company that we're very familiar with has a new driver coming out that goes straight. For a lot of people, from what I've heard from a lot of different people, goes really straight.
Yeah.
Is that
That's
again?
gonna
What's
be
the next
interesting.
step?
I still say once again, you're talking about the 1% of the 1% of the 1% of people.
But you have to draw the line somewhere, right? I mean, you have
25 years ago, John Daly was hitting at 300. I understand Rory McIlroy's kind of off the charts at 326 right now. Scoring averages once again. You look at handicaps once again. I know handicaps in the last 25 years have dropped probably by 2. Now I could say, you know what? How many different factors could that be?
Here's what I don't like
Equipment's
about
part of it. Technology is another part of it. Lesson opportunity is another part of it.
Here's what I'd like to see. I'd like to, right on your point. Let's set a tour event up the way they set it up in whatever date you have that. What date was that?
What's
John
that?
Daly hit it. How far? What date? When?
Well, in 98.
Okay, so in 1998 golf course setup versus 2023 golf course setup. I would like to see what the guys would shoot today with the 1998 setup. Do you think it'd be lower? I think it'd be way lower.
I think it would.
It'd be way
yeah,
lower.
I do too. The yardages just themselves have.
Well, even if you keep a similar yardage, if you just look at the setup, and I'm just talking about where the flag sticks are. Okay, where the flag sticks are, because I think every time the tour has made a step where the scores could go lower, the setups have changed. And they don't make them impossible, but if you look at it, they're not set up the same way. They're I think way harder. I think maybe not.
Yeah, I think agronomy changes. I mean, you could say could actually favor today's players. Fairways are going to be faster. You're going to get more distance there. As far as once again, their greens are going to probably be pure as far as roll better than anything. For the average golfer, unfortunately, that could also be a detriment because now the greens are faster and faster, and a lot of people don't handle those adjustments very well. So, I mean, there's just so many changes in the last 25 years. Equipment is a big part of it. I'm not denying that. But I mean, there's so many other things too. The access that people have as far as technology, we just talked about what we've got going here as far as lesson opportunities, technology to measure all that, all these things that they can better themselves to figure out how you can deliver the club more efficiently into the golf ball and maximize those things. And I think that can't be looked at lightly either. I mean, those are huge opportunities there. You look at the number of kids right now and the talent that's out there. I don't think it's all based off of because they all of a sudden got a driver they can hit straighter. They've once again learned to play this game more efficiently. Everything as far as from their short game all the way through their full swing is so much better, and they've got so much more access.
I think that's the key thing, though. That's part of it that's driving this, because from the overview of all of this is not for today. It's not for tomorrow. It's the fact that these kids right now are coming out as finely tuned athletes. And John Daly did not come out of where was he? Arkansas. He did not come out of Arkansas as a finely tuned athlete. He was just athletically gifted and capable of moving the club that fast. These kids now are athletically gifted and athletically trained to be moving the club. It's not going to be far off before these guys are coming out and achieving that 130, 140 mile an hour club head speed. I mean, we're seeing right now, what is Kyle Berkshire moving it at? What was the thing that you just sent me? Was it 150 or 155?
Yeah, 156.
So right now, when you look at kids coming out of school, they don't look like football players. Not yet. I mean, they're getting there. We're going to start getting to the point where golf is less of a hobby, not that it is a hobby at some point, but the science and the athleticism behind it continues to push it. And I think this is the USJ looking like, oh my God, some guys are moving at 150 mile an hour club head speed and their ball speeds are getting over 200. Pretty soon, being able to hit a par 4 is no longer going to be a 350 yard par 4. It's going to be a 420 yard par 4 if we don't do something.
But you've already got that individual, Bryson DeChambeau.
Yep.
Okay. But yet, is he winning week to week? No.
No one knows, actually. He's playing on the tour.
And really no one cares.
But then you look at course setups and they are playing par 4s that guys are struggling to break par as far as on 300 yard par 4s. I mean, there's different ways to go about that.
I agree.
I mean, there's more to it. Distance is a huge, obviously, advantage. in this game, but there is also more to it. I don't know. I just keep going back to, once again, we can't get our best players playing the black tees now. And the whole emphasis as far as from the PGA and the golf industry has been play it forward. And so it just seems so ironic and, kind of a little bit of a hypocrisy.
So
that
with
also now we're-
so having said that, does that mean less to the ball? If everybody's moving up, who cares? I mean, the companies have done a really good job at what for drivers? What's the only thing that's mattered?
well, everybody goes
How
distance.
long? Sure. So their marketing has to change. I mean, we have 2 marketing people here. We now have a co-producer.
Moving on up.
So how will they change that? Or will it change? I don't know. We'll see.
This is so funny. I mean, it's like, they talked for the longest time there, for a period of time anyway, of like bifurcation. And so I thought maybe that might be the way we're going.
I am
down.
not a fan of that, by the way.
No, but it's funny.
got a
Not
good
many
question
people,
about
not many
this.
people were. But then now that they're doing this, all of a sudden a whole lot more people have gotten on the bandwagon of bifurcation.
100%. And
Because they're like, this is dumb as far as for 99.9% of the population. So
I really wonder in 2028, again, this will be much ado about nothing. No one will even remember. No one, I mean, the 95% of the people, it'll have 0 impact.
I agree with you. It's fun to talk about. It's fun to debate it, but I agree with you. I think it's going to be the groove roll all over again.
then why go through it?
Well, you got to draw the line though
You
for
do.
the best players. Otherwise, literally, the golf courses are going to become obsolete. They are. They are. Don't.
So
They
here's
are.
here's my next question then. Okay. Do you buy into the magic that we play a sport universally governed for all abilities? Do you buy
Yes.
into that?
I do.
Is there a magic to the fact that I get to play this under the same rules as Tiger Woods, as all these guys? Do you like that?
I do.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I think the bifurcation gets messy, and you definitely lose that. I put magic, but I think that's what it is. It's what kind of binds us all. So
I get a kick out of that as far as I know there's been renovations of certain golf courses to make them longer and longer. We're still not playing many of the golf courses even tipped out right now.
Good point.
So it's kind of like,
but it
I don't
preserves
know.
that though too. It preserves the fact that we do have that real estate to be able to do that. I love playing devil's advocate in this because I do have the same viewpoints as you, Matt, but I want to see how it all plays out as well. And I agree with the fact that I do think there needs to be something done. And the fact that if we shut it off right now, like that's the one thing that we hear a lot of is people say like, okay, you had to do something, understand that, stop it right now, make it don't do a rollback, say like, this is as far as it can go right now. But what's happened is in the viewpoints of the USGA at the elite level, it's surpassed where they want to be. If this continues, if this trajectory literally keeps going, 20 years from now, we will have obsolete golf courses. Not at the average golfer. That won't be the case. But if we keep maintaining this, these elite amateurs and professionals will kind of lose the integrity of what the standard of the game is perceived through the USGA. Now, the other argument might be is games evolve, right? Sports evolve. Do we, if you watch if we watch playback from the NBA and college sports, like does that game look the same way that it does right now? Absolutely not. That game evolved, right? So are we content as professionals and growers of the game? Are we content with the fact that the game is evolving into such an emphasis on driver and swing speed? Are you content with that?
say that again. So
I can't.
you're talking basically it's all about distance once again.
Yeah, I'm just saying like the fact that the game's evolving so much right now, and it is, I would say that, and maybe I'm incorrect here, but I would think in the last even 5 years, speed has been a major proponent as launch monitors have become, more prevalent. People are optimizing their numbers. It is all about being able to hit the driver as far as possible. And what we're seeing too with like the decade deal and how we actually go about golf courses and what is the risk benefit in being able to hit driver on certain holes? Because I'm going to try and hit driver as many times as I possibly can because it's going to put me in the best position possible. And if I would have known that 15 years ago, 20 years ago, I might not have played the golf course the same way or emphasized certain shots the same way. So going back to, like, are we content with the fact that golf is evolving into more of a sport, more of a speed bias rather than being able to manufacture golf shots?
Well, I think it's been like that for a while now, as far as, and you look at it from, and why wouldn't golf evolve like that? All the other sports have, as far as from how do we become more efficient at whatever we do? How do we become bigger, stronger, faster? And golf should be no different. And obviously, speed sticks, rip stick, stack, all these things are geared at swinging the golf club faster. Launch mars, why are people buying them? Because they want to see their numbers. They want to maximize this. They're looking every way they can to swing that golf club more efficiently, and speed being, I think John Dahl always said, speed, it's like a drug. Everybody wants them. And so you want more and more and more. And so, it's been like that. I think I expected to be like that. And I don't have an issue with that as far as the golf evolves that way. I think it's going to continue. Like I said, even when the rollback for what I think for a minimum what they're trying to do right now, I don't know. The leader going to find a way.
Yep. Anything else on rollback?
I just
worry
worry
at our
about,
producers. They are like glazed over.
you just kind of worry.
Do you guys have any comments on golf ball rollback? They're like, you guys are idiots.
You just kind of start to wonder, as far as like, do we just then eventually we'll do the rollback here, and eventually we'll go from metal woods to wood woods, and then
I think that's a little bit of a jump. I think that's normal thinking. I don't think so. I would tell you that, in my opinion, there has to be a line. Can you imagine what the NBA or college or high school basketball would look like without the 3-point line?
I think about that a lot.
Right? Because there'd be no short people playing, and everything would be like it was in 1960. So that's kind of the way, in my opinion, that's kind of the way they made things change without having to change the playing service.
Okay.
Obscure.
Any other?
Whew.
You guys good? We'll come back. We'll circle back in future podcasts. We'll keep you updated.
can't wait to
Both
can't wait to
producers
see.
are going, no, you're not.
I can't wait to see
Stop.
Titleist's new marketing slogan. We've got our ball all the way up to the line.
Yeah. Well,
Oh, we do too, Callaway says.
Which they do anyway. They all do.
Exactly.
Well, and we could get really into the weeds by talking like the CT creep and all that stuff on the club heads. And the one last thing I had on the ball thing, and is exactly what you just said, was is the outcry a case for poor rollout and PR on behalf of the USGA? Basically, did the USGA just like not market this well? Did they just not get ahead of the messaging here? And then the ball companies and everyone else piled on and just said, gave their 2 cents, and the USGA is sitting there going like, oh, we didn't think it was going to be this big of a deal.
I give them more credit than that, and I think they knew exactly what they were doing.
Okay.
They wanted it out there, and they wanted to make it as not derogatory, but as
For some, that's the correct word.
clickbait-ish as
Sure.
they could, and then put the 5-year deal on it, and I think it'll be just like the wedges.
How are we doing on time, producers?
Wow, they're sleeping. So is our audience, by the way.
33 minutes.
Okay. I'm going to give you guys a choice here of topics. Okay. We got everyone's fan favorite, which I don't know if we can follow up a golf ball debate with Liv, but we got Liv on the table.
I vote no.
Okay. We also have El Tigre. We got Tiger's back, and there's also a spin on that.
Always a good subject.
You like Tiger?
It's always a
You
good
like the Tiger subject? Okay.
Keep going.
There's some good stuff there. We also have the TGL blow up, quite literally the blow up.
No one cares.
It's a super funny deal. And then last, I think we should probably end the show with PGA show in January. We'll talk about that. But between power struggle of the PGA and Liv, Tiger, or the TGL, what do you guys want to talk about?
Go ahead, Mac.
Tiger.
Fielder's choice. Tiger is back. Okay.
This week? Are they playing this
This
week?
weekend, yeah.
This weekend.
PNC, baby.
Awesome.
So here's the fun thing about this. Okay, Tori, what brand has Tiger been affiliated forever? Do you know?
Nike.
Boom. Correct. 1 for 1. Okay. As per the No Laying Up podcast, Woods will wear a Nike shoe at the PNC. However, this is potentially going to be the last time Tiger will be supporting the Nike brand.
He hasn't been wearing a Nike shoe
So
for a year, right?
correct. He's been wearing FootJoy, which another question, if you were FootJoy, why aren't you just like promoting the heck out of that?
Probably can't.
Is that contractually kind of deal?
I would think so.
But yeah, according to anonymous sources, Tiger Woods and Nike are reportedly ending their partnership after 27 years. It's unclear what caused the split. However, Woods has not used Nike clubs since 2016. Technically, no one really can. When they discontinued their brand. Furthermore, he has been rocking FootJoy brand footwear since at least 2022. We kind of have some inside in on this too. In
You
the
do?
fact, well, I mean, from the
You do.
the rep level, like have you guys in your golf shops, have you carried Nike?
We did it in 23. We did it in 22.
Because there's a mix, there's a switch up right now.
Correct.
Like Nike, it really does feel like Nike's getting out of the golf game
I was just going to
completely.
say they're out.
Yeah. So I think you're going to see. I think Tiger definitely moves the needle in the marketplace there, and I think that's the big shakeup. But I do think you're going to probably see all the other brand ambassadors going elsewhere too.
Which is kind of really surprising as far as them getting out, if that's truly where they're going, because they have a lot of people in their stable
Oh my God!
worldwide,
Nike is everywhere on tour.
and the women's tour as well. And so
Must not
it's-
be making them any money.
Do you like Jordan golf shoes? That's like,
Still making
oh my
hundreds
gosh.
of millions of dollars.
How many top 100 instructors in the world do you see like on the lesson tee that are wearing Jordans? Like I guess a lot of that is like when I'm on YouTube and I'm looking at like different instructors, and so it seems like everybody's wearing Jordans, which kind of makes me not want to wear them. But like I see Jordan golf everywhere, especially with the younger crowd. I mean, everyone's trying to get that look, that that Nike Jordan-esque look, and obviously they're not doing it blindly. They know what they're doing, I would think, but it seems kind of crazy because they've got a lot of brand recognition on tour, and then also at all levels of the game.
I agree.
Who's taking up the spot? Who's gonna slide in there?
There's lots of companies out there that are doing golf. Nike, it's such a big animal. I think Nike has done a very good job and been very successful as to clamming onto a generational athlete. That's kind of what they do.
Right.
I don't know if there's a generational athlete playing golf right now that drives the bus.
Now, again, we got on this topic because it's Tiger, right? I didn't really mean to kind of go at like full bore into Nike here, but yeah, you even got like the Tiger Woods line with Nike, and you got guys like
Rory.
yeah, well Rory, but he's not wearing the Tiger line. You got Scheffler
Right.
that wears the full on Tiger line. You got the number one player in the world wearing the Tiger Woods line.
Why is that?
Why is that?
Yeah.
I don't know. Why is that?
Because the Nike line doesn't push anybody to get it, but the Tiger line does. So again, generational players.
The Jordan line does.
Jordan and Woods, but
Yep.
without right. It's Jordans. It's not Nikes. It's Jordans.
Which leads me to the next thing is, do you
Charlie's.
Charlie Woods, PNC coming up? That might be a new line, but that leads me to think that. Do you think that there is possibility that Nike probably owns the TW line, and that's not? Do you think that there's a chance that Tiger creates his own line?
Yes.
I think there's a possibility there. I think speaking to the generational talents and stuff, when you look at Michael Jordan and the success that Michael Jordan's brand has had now far after his playing career, I think Tiger might be looking at that. I am totally speculating here. This is not a scoop at
Breaking
all.
news. Let's get the breaking news out.
But I think Tiger might be looking to that and go, and maybe not, but there's definitely a potential there for to break off and create a whole new line. However, Jordan did it with Nike. So I don't know. There is talk about TaylorMade getting into the apparel game again. So
Okay, so Tiger played last week in the Bahamas?
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
The hero.
I didn't get to see it.
Dude is jacked. Absolutely
I
jacked.
heard somebody on some podcast or in some TV show asking if Tiger ate himself. He's so big.
He's huge. He's got that bodybuilder V, right? And so everyone's speculating, is he juiced up? Is that something that's happening? But I will tell you, like, looking at photos, he's a substantially different presence than he was the last time he was playing golf. And maybe it was just, being down in Bermuda. I don't know. He looked jacked.
If you guys watched it, how did he function on day 4?
So I didn't catch day 4 at all. Although he did say that he continued to play better and better and better as he got going.
That's a good sign.
Yeah.
We need him to play.
I know he moves it, doesn't
We
he?
need him to play.
Seems like some of the back 9, he kind of struggled on each of the rounds. It seemed like, and I don't know if it's probably combo. If it was all physical, definitely seemed like there might have been some focus issues because they were just kind of not like just a bad shot. It almost seemed like there's even some bad decisions. I mean, one of them, he actually, as far as an opportunity, he was going to try to play a shot that looked like it was almost impossible. And it was just like, everyone's kind of going, well, you're just going to take a drop to an unplayable lie. He chose to try to hit it, which, I mean, it looked like there was no chance and it didn't end well. And he ended up having to take an unplayable after all. Just little things like kind of just some focus stuff. And I don't know if that could also be a combination of fatigue, but I think those are just some little things as far as rust and whatnot. I think that he'll kind of knock off. But I thought, health wise, I mean, didn't seem to have much of an issue when you watch him as far as when he's walking, hitting. I mean, he made some spectacular shots. Seemed like he drove it, reasonably
His
well.
ball speeds are still,
Mm-hmm.
mid 170s, and so that also kind of dovetails into the previous. I'm not going to go back to the ball thing, but he has gone on record saying that he's hitting it farther currently than when he did when he got on tour. He's hitting it farther and faster currently than when he did when he was on tour.
Are you
No, I've been on tour.
hitting it as far as you did when you were younger?
I'm not hitting it as far today as I was probably. I don't know how long ago.
At what age did you notice it change?
I just
A
think,
couple years ago?
yeah, I'd say probably easily so.
Okay.
But, also though, my workout regimen has been kind of non-existent as
Yeah.
well. So I haven't done a very good job of trying to keep
And you're
myself
still close though.
yeah.
No?
You're talking in ball speed, or I mean, as far as an overall distance. Stuff like that?
Kind of.
Yeah. I'll give you maybe.
Get back to us on that.
Yeah.
Matt Cook, the professional fence rider.
Yeah, totally. But
Trying to be cautious before I walk into
How are
that
you?
trap.
am I hitting it farther now?
Yeah.
Last year I noticed a dip, to be honest, but I would say that is probably consistent with the amount of effort I put into my game. I didn't put as much. I feel like
You have a speed challenge coming, I
Yep.
believe.
Yep.
So you'll be back up to hitting it farther. And is
I
that
agree.
is that the way it should be?
Is that the way it should be?
Yeah.
If you put the effort in, should you get something out of it? Or
Should you hit it at 60? I'm going to use myself at 60 with 0 trying to be physically fit.
Yeah.
I hit my clubs. Other than the driver, I hit my clubs the same distance I did when I was 20. Is that right?
it's fun.
I agree with that.
It's
Totally.
fun.
I totally agree.
I mean, it definitely makes the game more enjoyable from that perspective. As long as, I don't know. I mean, that's a super good question. I like that. as long as it doesn't become completely out of whack. And again, getting back to the first question, I think we're trying to put that cap on it.
And I kind of understand that I'm hitting same irons, same distances, understanding that those irons are one club stronger than
Right.
they had been. But
Good question.
earth shattering. Well,
Dude, that's critical thinking.
It looks like it. I'm just
So last thing though on
yes.
Tiger, the gilded one. Okay. The other topic, talking about his physical physique, word on the street though is, and it makes perfect sense, is he's had to create, like his body has had to change in order to compensate for how he's tight down, you know, like his body rotation and his movement is not the same. You can see like when he finishes a drive, he's kind of hopping over to his left side. You know, it's not like a smooth, or even back in when he first started, it was like a violent move to turn to the target. Now you kind of see it's definitely more upper body bias. You know, he's definitely got to swing the club faster and harder with his upper body and rely less on his overall rotation and how his lower body is moving. So that's one big takeaway as I see like Tiger's swing evolve. I see that it's much more a top heavy golf swing than it was. It's not this big round rotational thing that he had going on prior to. Do you guys notice that at all?
I have for sure.
Yeah. And I think it's only going to continue now with his latest surgery. He just doesn't have the same mobility. So, but hopefully he continues playing because, like Greg said, it's moving the needle and it gets people watching. So,
Do we just have a comment in the chat?
did we have a comment? No, I didn't have a comment. No comments. We're not live, are we?
No, I'm
Okay.
kidding.
That would be okay.
Kind of a,
Okay. Anything else on Tiger? I'm looking forward to the PNC. That's always fun to
Yes.
watch. I like seeing Charlie
Fantastic.
play.
so I saw Will McGee made a hole in one practice round.
So, and we know now too, Charlie is a state champion, right? He was on the state championship
Yes.
team down in Florida. Do you think that that's going to, I mean, who knows, right? But do you think that it's not going to be that far off until we start talking about him, you know, as a potentially a national prospect?
I'm going to say no.
Okay.
A national prospect.
Like NIL money going into college. And
I think there'll be NIL money.
yeah,
there,
definitely.
that's what I mean. Like, holy cow.
But his ability to play it's just too hard,
It is.
in my opinion.
No, I don't disagree. I mean, no, could he be? Sure. I think there's opportunities there.
How old is
But
he now? How old is he?
Izzy is 67, I believe.
No one gets that, Greg.
But what
A couple people get it.
The ones that are
You get
listening.
but we were talking, I mean, there's a lot of juniors, even at his graduating class, that are above him right now as
Yeah.
far as in the rankings. A lot of.
His score counted one day out of that state championship. So
Is he? Did I see
I'm
something?
wondering, how old is he though? Is he
You
16?
said 62, didn't you?
15?
67.
67. He is. What would he be? He is.
I need stat check.
He
on
might be
that.
about 16 or.
Be a sophomore.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I would say. Yes.
Did I see something current? Is he injured again, Charlie?
I don't know.
I thought I saw a swing. I don't know if that was old stuff or not of him.
Got
Like,
the scoop on that.
Breaking news
I don't know.
again.
Okay.
Well,
Well,
it's so funny because, was it last year or the year before when he had sprained his ankle or did something like that? And, his mannerisms, I mean, are identical, to his father. I mean, I don't know if there's multiple ways to hobble. But, he looked identical.
he's got to
to
get
his
the hobble
father.
down. That was
Yeah.
a big part of the later part of Tiger's career, is just recognizing, see, it's round 2, back 9, not going to make the cut. All of a sudden, oh, yep, follow through, holding the back. Yep, that's
Yeah.
what's going on. So
That kid has watched his father a little bit.
yeah, he has. Well, anyways, the PNC, the father son, or the parent child's always fun to watch. So, what time does that come on? Because is that 4 rounds?
3,
Yeah.
I think.
Okay. Anyways, cool. Tune in, watch some Tiger. It's good to have him back. All right, what do you guys want now? What do we got? We got TGL blow up or Liv. two of Greg's favorite.
Producers going,
She's giving us the hook.
You know what? It's crazy because, I've been down on Liv forever,
Okay. you picked
Ditto.
Liv.
you know,
We'll keep this short. I swear to God, Tori.
but it's crazy the way we're kind of going down this hole as far as on the tour and what the tour is allowing. And it's like, are we just becoming Liv? All the way up to Tiger and Rory's adventure. It's kind of like,
That was
Is
a
that-
reaction.
is that not
100%.
Liv?
That was a reaction.
two different animals though. One entity, and I think this is what I have a struggle with. One entity, it's not a business model.
No.
It's wrecking. It's literally there to give players, nothing wrong with this, a huge amount of money to play all over the world without any care factor of a business model.
Sustainability.
The other one with Tiger and Rory will have to be a business model, and we'll see if that works. We'll see. It just, the other one is just purely, I have enough money to do whatever I want, and I'm just going to make your life miserable.
So one of the hot
My
takes,
opinion.
I mean, right now what we're talking with Liv is the fact that John Rahm just went over to Liv, just signed a deal with Liv for what seems to be the gross revenue of a small country. He signed for between, and it's not completely divulged as to what the number is.
Zero. Again, this is the other part I don't like. And again, it's fine. It's just me. Zero transparency about what any of it. It's all hearsay.
Yeah. So between 400 and 600 million is what the number is right now, is what he committed to.
I hope he got it all up front.
Right. So
Which he didn't.
no, I don't think he did. But he's citing this is what absolutely kills me. Like, still to this day, the only person that actually was, I think, truthful in this whole deal was Harold Varner, who
Harold
said
Varner.
that I did it for the money. I straight up did, right? But Rahm is citing the ability to reach new audiences, which good luck on the CW and YouTube, buddy. And then the innovation of the product, and then potential to grow the game. He's already said that he's got negative sentiments towards the format, saying 54 holes is not a real golf tournament. And so he's going over to Liv to grow the game, play in an event that he doesn't like, right? And the innovation, which is basically all I'm finding out, is playing loud music on every hole.
Do you ever wonder if he even knew what that statement said?
Well, he went on TV and
Okay.
and said it.
Said he, okay.
But there is something that's going on with all these guys that go to Liv. They turn into freaking robots. When they're interviewed, they all look like soulless behind the eyes. They're just like, I'm doing this to grow the game, and I'm excited for the opportunity to align
I agree,
myself with a
totally.
product
I
that
agree.
is so innovative. And
I
it's like, what is going on?
that's the script you're given
It
for
totally-
$400
yeah.
million.
So anyways, that's the silver lining could be, though, because January 1, the PGA Tour is supposed to come up with, we're supposed to come up like as a unified front, a way that Liv and PGA Tour are going to align themselves together under one big umbrella, right? And it kind of seems like Liv right now is kind of getting tired of all this waiting and no one coming to the table. They're like, all right, screw it. We're just going to go after one of your best players and get him to sign, and then see if we can push everyone to the bargaining table again. But the good thing that could come about this is the fact that it could expedite this process, and hopefully people start playing under one umbrella once again. What do you guys take of that? Do you guys think this is going to be a good thing, or do you think this is going to be an awful year for watching professional golf?
What you just said.
Does it kind of feel like the like when baseball went through like all the labor strikes and stuff, and like I remember that summer where you're like, baseball's not on, and I never really got back. No, I never really got back to baseball. I never really enjoyed it much after all that labor striking.
One of the allures of watching professional golf, and I'm not saying this is right or wrong, is you got paid to play better. And if you didn't play better or didn't play well, you did not get paid. I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I'm just saying I think that was the allure.
Mhm.
And that allure is gone.
That part of the game is definitely an allure from the fan perspective.
Yes.
And I would also contest the fact that money plays very little role in the fan perspective, right? I don't think people give two rips about a difference between $1 million and $10 million as it comes from a fan perspective. They care more about the majors. They care more about, who won certain events. They care more about the pride of an event from a fan perspective. And I don't think that the PGA Tour, the players, it's certainly a big part of the deal, but that part of the deal is certainly lacks the luster of $300 million. So this was an interesting one. And I've been reading a lot on this stuff. So according to Mr. Beast, you guys know who Mr. Beast is? Yeah. Guy gives away large sums of cash on YouTube and does all these challenges and stuff. Anyways, according to Mr. B, he's like one of the biggest guys on YouTube. These guys have
never
idea.
heard of him.
Okay.
I'm on YouTube a lot.
You've never heard of him? Okay.
I feel better now. Thanks, Tori.
According to Mr. Beast, anything over $100,000 to the general public all seems very similar. And that's the way that he markets different challenges on YouTube. Like he gives away like $100,000 if you can stay inside this circle for 30 days. You know what I mean? Does weird stuff like that. But in that regard, all this money talk, I think is just totally means either it's totally off-putting from the fan perspective, like the greed and that aspect behind it. But truly, fans do not care how much money somebody is making. What do you guys think of that?
Yeah, that's probably accurate. I'm not watching a tournament because the purse is going to be huge. I'm watching it of who's in it. So, and they kind of go hand in hand probably.
They do.
Because the purse is large, chances are everybody's playing in it. That's like, well, even like you were just asking Greg, for me, I don't think it's going to change this year as far as if I'm going to watch or I'm not going to watch. It's one player, which is a big player. But once again, I think we still got a lot of really good talent out there. And we're still going to probably see John Rahm in all the majors anyway. So, how many events are going to actually miss him? So it's unfortunate. It's not like I feel bad for anybody that hasn't made the decision to jump yet, but it'll be interesting to see how they rectify that once again for those that have kind of remained loyal to this point anyway. And if there is going to be any ramification at all, because if there isn't, boy, those guys are going to look really stupid.
Yeah, and so that goes back into what's happening on with the PGA Tour right now. You've got 21 PGA players that sent a letter to the PGA Tour policy board, and they're basically, Greg, you and I have talked about this. PGA golfers seeking transparency in the PIF, which is the Public Investment Fund, Saudi Arabia, and the future PGA deal. So they want a seat at the table as it relates to their monetary interest. They want to be able to comment or give input as to any future investments and how that will affect purse structure and things like that. So the part that I find super duper funny is it's really convenient to be a independent contractor when it behooves you. But then as soon as it relates to money and having a seat at the table, then they're like, well, we're part of this tour. We deserve a right to know the monies that are coming in and how it affects us. And it's like, well, the PGA Tour we can dole out whatever money that we want. You guys essentially are working for us as independent contractors. So it's kind of speaking out of both sides of your mouth. So what do you think? Do you think this has got legs?
What part?
The fact that these 21, which if you look at the 20,
it's all the bottom feeders.
It is.
I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but it's individuals that don't make a difference. That being said,
100%.
I can see where that is a huge concern though, because it's almost leaning more and more to like, is the tour going to be from 125? It's going to be like 50 players pretty soon. Is that our tour? We're going to have where you're going to have a very few number of guys in it. So that does make a huge difference in their livelihoods. It's like my opportunities are going right down the toilet.
Do you think though that those 21 it's total speculation, right? But the fact that these 21 golfers, it's not Rory McIlroy, it's not Tiger Woods, it's not. These are, like you said, bottom feeders. If they're called all sorts of different mules, right?
Yeah.
The bottom half are going to have different interests in mind as it relates to the PGA Tour, and not necessarily in a positive reflection from a fan perspective. Because I keep going back to the PGA Tour. This is a product for fans. Because if you don't have fans, no one cares, right? And so what benefits those the bottom tier of the PGA Tour? Fans don't care. Like fans do not. Do you think fans care about what's happening at, player 101, 103? Do they really care about
I'm
that?
sure they have no idea what that earnings, most people would have no idea what the earnings are for that individual. And unfortunately, those people down there, like at 125, that's probably going to be pretty stagnant.
Yeah.
It's like that number is probably not going to change a whole lot for them. We're at the elite, top, whatever that is. It's going to be mammoth.
So last bit about this though. Jay Monahan have a job after this year? I'm surprised he's still there. But is he?
Why does he want to keep that job?
You seen what it makes?
I understand that, but how many? So he's done it for how long? I mean, the dude has enough money.
Yeah.
That's wrong of me to say, but I'm gonna say no.
I think this is last year.
Like you say, why would he want to continue? It's such a hard deal. A lot of them, all these people, how many people are probably on the tour then? How many, is it 125 plus? Well, I can't remember.
What do you mean by on the tour?
Well, have our PGA Tour members.
Oh man, that number's like
Yeah.
256 or
That's a lot.
512 or something.
And so, when you have like these type of negotiations and all these things going on, it's like, how many people truly can you bring to the table and have it work?
None.
That's the thing. It's such a
Zero.
hard deal. It's like someone's got to make the decisions.
Yeah.
And those guys really don't want to make those decisions. That's, you and I talked about this.
Yeah.
Be careful what you ask for.
Right. All right. How's that for current events? That's more current events than we've ever discussed on this pod. So you guys have anything else to add?
No, I think we just quiz our producer now to find out what she learned today.
we have some stuff to promote though. You guys know that?
I did.
There's
not know
stuff
that.
happening. There's stuff happening.
What's happening
in January?
What's happening in January?
It is the largest convergence of golf under one roof. I just coined that. I don't know if that's accurate or not.
Sounds great.
Doesn't it? Sounds professional.
And I would buy into it being there.
I love it.
Well, I got
Am
something for
going?
you. I think you're going.
All right.
Yep. I hope you're going.
I'm going.
So it's the PGA show. And so the largest demo day we're going to be at, that's on the 22nd, January 22nd. And then also the PGA show, which is all sorts of stuff between education, industry, products and services. And it's a really cool way to get anything affiliated with golf, whether it be tech, a product, a new service, any type of thing. It's all going to be represented there, and we get to be in the middle of it. And also, from what I understand, this podcast is taking the show on the road, and we're going to be doing the pod from Orlando. So, if our two listeners are out there and they want an insider scoop as to, or maybe just have a question as to, hey, check this product out, feel free to leave a comment, hit us up, and hopefully we can highlight those types of things on the pod next month. So you guys excited for that?
I am.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool. Have you guys done the demo day before?
Yes.
The demo day is insanity.
Yes.
So for those of you that haven't seen what's going on at Orange County National, this driving range is super rad. It's a giant circle. And so from end to end, I gotta go back. What's a pi RD? What is the diameter? What's the diameter of that range as a circle? Is it 400 yards?
Do you think this is really the reason for the ball rollback?
Bingo.
We can't use Orange County's range anymore.
Orange County National. At the middle of it. So, but yeah, the driving range, I think it's like 360, 400 yards in diameter as a circular driving range. So everyone hits to the center. And the last time I was there, which was 2 years ago, virtually every vendor, there was at every tee line, they were being used. So imagine how big. You got to come up, what is the circumference of that range? And then that's how many vendors there were. So
Well, you had kind of figured that out, didn't you? Because that was part of the contest we were going to run for our podcast, right? Remember?
Nope.
No. It was how many times Chris Larson could run around that range?
Oh, that's going to be a contest. Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, I
Yep.
forgot about that. We didn't put him in the production meeting.
That's the-
He said
That's
25 laps around it.
I was going to say there's more like that'd be a decimal. That would not be a whole number. Yeah. So yeah, it's pretty spectacular to see all the vendors out there and the show that they put on, and also really excited to see the education, because there's a ton of really accomplished instructors and players that are going to be putting on a lot of clinics and stuff. So anyways, if you got any interest in that, or you're concerned as to what's coming out this year and you want an insider tip, you can hit us up, or you can also check us out on the pod. We'll be updating that on Spotify. Are we still on YouTube, Tori? Yes, we're on YouTube. So go ahead, subscribe, follow us on Spotify. Are we on Facebook? She says yes. Okay. Like us on Facebook.
Well, not Muni Misfits.
Muni Misfits is not on Facebook.
Well, you're on Fargo Golf Facebook.
Fargo Golf Facebook.
There we go. So check out Fargo Golf on Facebook. Yeah. Do you guys have anything else to add on this pod?
2 quick items. 1, Discover Junior Golf Tour, big things coming in 2024, so keep your eyes out for that. And 2, I'd like to wish ex-NDSU golfer Van Holmgren. He's in final Corn Ferry Tour qualifier. Started today.
Cool.
Go get them, Van. That's awesome. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in, you guys. Hopefully we have a big, fun pod down in January. I'm excited for that. So anyways, we will catch you next time. This is Muni Misfits. Thanks for tuning in.